All right, so we're trying to get buttoned up here on this. We've got power steering pump on, got the alternator on, put the plugs in it. Got our coolant temperature sensor for the Bandit EFI. Got my O2 bung welded in. Got my exhaust all finished welding up for the front part. I ain't done the tailpipe yet. We made this little bracket here to hold the brake line. So we're getting close. We got the transmission linkage painted. We're gonna get it mounted up. We'll put this Bandit on throttle body right quick. So we got throttle body bolted on, and we got everything plugged into it. We need to plug the O2 sensor in because we ain't plugged that in since we put it in the exhaust. We got the fuel pump block off on here, so we'll get this O2 sensor plugged in. Alright, so we got the O2 sensor plugged in. Now we're gonna we'll work on routing this wiring. Actually, I think I want to route this like this. Hang on. Alright, so we routed our O2 sensor up the frame rail. We'll put some straps on that. We still got to tie the brake line down and the return line down, so we'll tighten that up when we get to that point. I want to kind of get these wires down and tucked. I've got the coolant temperature sensor, but I haven't gotten the haven't done the tack lead yet. I ran my coolant temp sensor through the air gap part of the intake, so got that kind of neat. I got our throttle ball on the throttle body for our throttle cable on the truck. So I put some plug wires on here. I've got this heater hose plugged off. I'm gonna plug this one off because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna put the radiator on this thing and crank this motor up and break the cam in with it sitting here on the frame. That's what I'm thinking anyway. We'll see how that works out. But yeah, I wanna pin all this wiring back so that you can't see it. And I'll run it like that, I think. We'll put a strap on it and bolt it to the back of the head, I think. So yeah, and then the rest of it, we had to mount this stuff up whenever we get the cab on it. So we'll get that done. But this battery lead right here, that's the ground. And then we got that's the fuel pump lead, which should go back here. And then here's the positive lead right here. Like I said, we're not going to use the fan. That goes to the switch. This goes to the battery. So and figure out what we're going to do with the computer. Like I said, we won't worry about any of that until we get the cab on here. I got to run the vacuum line for the modulator, which I got a new vacuum line. Got to run a vacuum line for the vacuum advance on the distributor. And that's pretty much what we got going on here. Like I said, I welded up all the exhaust that we've built so far. So it's still muddy, so I don't know what out here. And everything's high, but clearanced away from anything that it'd hit. It looks tight, but it's not. So I'm real happy with all that. So I'll set this thing back down on the ground because we're done with it in the air. Got a spin on the oil filter, which I'll fill it full of oil. And I'm gonna put the fan on. Put the fan on, mount the radiator support, radiator. Like I said, type these fuel lines here, and the fuel line, the fuel return, and this brake line. We'll get those tied up and type this oxygen sensor wire. Tie this main harness to the back of the head, and we're getting real close here. Getting real close here. Not going to put the power steering belt on yet because this thing's got a remote reservoir on it and it has to hang on the fender. I don't have a fender on here to hang it on, so it's just going to sit there with no belt on it for a minute while we get this cam broke in, and then we'll get it and get the cab put back on it. So like I said, next video you'll see we'll be running this thing in. So got our coolant bypass hose on, and getting it done. Like I said, clamp this to the back of the head here. Probably right there. So I'm really anxious to see how this Bandit EFI is going to work on this thing. But we'll see. It's not going to be long now. Like I said, a few little minor details buttoned up, and be ready to fire this thing up. So you guys stay tuned, and we'll show you. Should be firing this thing up in the next video.